Hey guys, something different for you today. We're going to be doing this sassy redhead doing a copper retouch, so keep watching. Here she is before. It's been probably a month and a half since we last did her color, and to start out the service, we're going to be doing her blonde foils around her face, and I'm using Schwarzkopf Blonde Meat with just 7 volume. To start the service off, I prefer doing the highlights around her face first. Again, I'm only using 7 volume. I'm not going in there with too strong of a developer and using 20, just 7 volume, because it's going to sit for quite a while as I do her color application, and then it has to process. So 7 volume is ideal. Let me tell you, I have done this service before where I do the color first because I was worried about the blonde, and I do her roots and everything, and then pull the color through her ends, then go through and do her foils. And it is difficult, man, because to pin aside the blonde hair and to try to not have it touch the red color to get color transfer or whatever, like, man, just use a lower developer and do the foils first, because it's going to save you so much time and effort and keep the service a lot cleaner and neater, and you're not worrying about, oh my gosh, are my blonde pieces going to turn orange because they touched the back of her head. So just start off with the foils. You'll be fine. She's, if we went through and did a full foil, and she would be sitting in foils for a long time anyways. So that's my recommendation if you're doing a service like this. Start off with the foils. Get exactly how you want the face frame to be. If they want like super heavy blonde, like I would section out like around your face, set that aside, make sure that you're even on both sides, and then start doing your foils before you apply the color, because honey, oh my gosh, it just took so much time. And then I was like, holy cow, now I gotta bleach through the ends because I got color transfer on her hair, and her blonde isn't blonde anymore. It's like an orange color. So take my advice. I've learned my lesson. Start with the foils. Another thing that we used to do for this service, like we've kind of gone through like 2 years of doing this hair color, or I don't know exactly how long, and we've tried a few different things, and we are at like exactly where we want to be. We don't need to adjust anything anymore. But another way that we used to do the blonde was just like as if it was a bleach in tone. So I would just go through without foils and bleach like all of her blonde roots. The problem with that, and this was just like a personal preference, it wasn't like bad or anything, but she just didn't like how harsh of a line of demarcation it was when her hair started growing out. It was just like the blonde was so severe because it was a bleach in tone. So we switched to doing like a super fine weave of foils around her face. That way, as her hair grows out, she has just like a little bit of her natural hair weaved out. Like you can see that as the foils are pulled back, you can see some of her natural hair, and it's a little bit softer than if it was just like a bleach in tone, straight line of bleach. So ask your client, if you do this service, would they want to have like a softer grow out and just do some foils, or do they want it solid blonde? And that will kind of make your decision based off of how they prefer their grow out to be. since we're still doing the blonde, we're just going to talk about the toning for it now. When we first started doing this service, we were toning her hair to be like a super icy white blonde. Well, realistically, that just doesn't work when you have red or copper tones in your hair. You know, eventually your blonde is going to pick up on the warm color that's going to bleed into the blonde hair. And eventually your super icy white blonde hair that you're working so hard to achieve is going to warm up a little bit. So you can see that the blonde that we have in her hair, it is really bright, but it does have a slight warm tone to it. And she actually prefers that because we were getting to a point where we were trying to make her hair so icy, like level 10 PAV, just to make sure like there was absolutely no warmth in it at all, just like as icy white as possible. So every time we would do this service, I was having to go through and like bleach through her ends to re-brighten them up and get rid of any warmth in her ends and her blonde pieces or whatever. And then, you know, I would try to do that as carefully as I could without causing any damage. But then she was just feeling like, even though her hair wasn't breaking, she was just feeling like her blonde was just getting like so over-processed. So we just kind of decided that we're going to work with a warmer blonde tone instead of trying to make it like the iciest, whitest blonde, which she's been a lot happier with it because her blonde isn't damaged and it actually blends a lot better with her hair. It's a little bit softer. You know, she doesn't have to fight it as much to try to keep it super icy white. If it warms up a little bit, it's fine. If the toner fades out, eventually all toners fade out and all blondes warm up. And if you have super icy white blonde or even, you know, a cooler ashier blonde, you're going to notice a big difference when the toner fades because your blonde's going to warm up. And when we have our warmer blonde, we don't notice it as much anymore.
Hey guys, I'm in the back and about to mix my color for my client that I have. I normally have like all my random reds and coppers that I have from like Paul Mitchell, but then every time I go to color her hair again, I'm always like, oh my god, what was it that I used? Because I mixed like five different things together. I was like, I'm tired of doing that. I mean, her color always turns out really pretty, but I just want to simplify it a little bit. So I know Schwarzkopf Agora Vibrance has really pretty like coppery tones, and she wants to be definitely like more like coppery versus red. And so I went and I grabbed 777 and 677. So this is what we're going to be using to color her hair. Agora Royal by Schwarzkopf. And I'm also going to be using 30 volume to mix. I'm going to go through first in, oh my god, could it be a few inches taller? 30 volume. And I just got some new lip gloss yesterday and it's like super sticky, so my hair's sticking to it. So I'm gonna mix those pretty much like half and half with 30 volume. Also, I just got new makeup yesterday. I know I look like shit half the time in my videos with my hair and makeup a mess, so don't get too excited. I just wanted to have fun and try my new makeup out. Okay, bye.
Okay, so for mixing this, we're doing half 777 and half 677 with 30 volume. So I actually wanted to get just a level 7 for her hair because she definitely wanted to be like a brighter, more intense copper. But you'll see when I go through and do her hair that like the last root color that we did, you'll see it's kind of like a darker reddish color. And so I had to get like a level 6 to help blend with that, because if I just did level 7, she was definitely going to have like orange hot roots. So I felt like I needed to add that level 6 copper in there to help blend with that darker red color that was fresh on her roots from last time. And then having that level 7 would... I'm trying to like slowly brighten her hair up, and hopefully next time we'll be able to just do like maybe a quarter of the level 6 with the rest of it the 7, and eventually get to like, you can see this like orangier color through the ends of her hair, and hopefully we'll get to that point. Okay, you'll notice as I'm lifting up her hair and kind of digging through her hair and sectioning it, look how much darker it is through the underneath. Like, I mean, her hair blends really good. And honestly, like all of our hair is a little bit darker underneath anyways. But we have done so many different shades of red in her hair. So the last time we did her hair, she said she wanted to be like a brighter copper tone. And I was like, oh crap, I don't know if we're there. So I did her color, and then afterwards we went down to the shampoo bowl and I actually did like a bleach wash on her hair. That's why her ends are a lot like, they're probably like 2 shades lighter and they're a lot orangier. So she was kind of getting out of like that red stage and wanting to work more towards being like an actual copper. So like we have done so I'll link, I think I have like all of her videos that I've done, or I've probably done a couple videos that I've uploaded. If not, go to my Instagram, Modern Blonde by Christy, because I definitely have shared like a lot of her hair surfaces that we've done, and you'll see like how deep of like a cherry red we did one time, which was super pretty. Like, I mean, all the colors are so pretty, but she was just feeling like she wanted to be a little bit like brighter and orangier and more intense of a copper. So yeah, that's why if you're noticing like her old color that's growing out on the roots that we did last time looks kind of like a darker reddish color, that's because that's kind of like the color that we had been doing, and now she wants to be like more of a true copper tone. So that's why I wanted to switch up the color that I was using, because previously I was using Paul Mitchell. I'm not kidding you when I'm telling you that I would have like 5 or 6 different like boxes of color, and I was trying to be like, crap, what was it that I was using? Because sometimes she wanted to be like a hint, like a neutral with like a hint of red or whatever. So like I just had so many different things of color that I had to use, and I just like mixed random stuff together. But I'm like, I just want to make this easy. I know Schwarzkopf has like great reds and coppers, so I'm just gonna switch over to Schwarzkopf and do just like the 777, which is like a true copper, and pray to the Lord that it turns out good, which it did. So yeah, I'm just super excited to like next time I do her hair, I'm just grabbing my 2 boxes of color, half and half, call it good. I know what I'm doing. Thank you, Lord. Okay. Here's like a little pro tip for you guys. If you're doing an all over color like this, but your client doesn't necessarily want it to be like one color all over, you know what I mean? Like we want it to be one color, but we want there to still be some dimension. Like you can look through her hair and see that she has like some brighter, and I know that I told you that we did like a bleach wash. We actually did like 3 bleach washes on her hair last time to get it brighter through the ends. But a lot of the times what I'll do after I apply her color, and sometimes I'll do it like before I run the color through her ends. Like I'll wash her hair out and then run the color through her ends. Sometimes I'll do the all over color, but sometimes I'll do it before and after. But I'll go through and do like some open air balayage on the ends of her hair, like the midsection through the ends of her hair, just to give it some interest in some different tones, like some dimensional brighter pieces here and there. And maybe it's only like a shade or 2 or 3 lighter than what the color that she has, but it just gives the hair some dimension, a little bit of contrast. You don't have to go in there heavy handed. Sometimes I just take like these huge panels and I'm just like slapping bleach on 4 panels around her whole head. And that's enough to give her some dimension to where it doesn't just look like she has like one solid color. So if you have a client that wants to do this, but you're like, this red or this orange is such a fun color, but I think it would just pop if we did some like balayage on it just to give it some extra brightness. Because if somebody's doing these red or orange colors, like chances are they're not afraid of intensity. Adding some bleach and just like brightening up those shades is gonna give a little bit of intensity, and I promise you they're gonna love it. Like having some extra bright pops of blonde or extra bright pops of orange, if they're already a redhead or a copperhead, like I promise you they're gonna love it. There's nobody that's a redhead or an orange head or a copperhead and they're like, man, that's a little too much. Like chances are they want it to be a little bit more intense. So I let her I let her roots process for a full 45 minutes, and I do let her color sit a little bit longer probably than I need to, but it's just because I really want to make sure it has time to process. So I let her roots process for about 30-45 minutes. And then what I'm doing right now is after her roots have processed, I'm going through and running the color through her ends. Normally I would go through and do like a super like meticulous application, but I know that it really hurts her head. So I'm just lightly putting it on there. And then now when we go wash her hair, this is her overall gloss that we're doing, 777 with copper booster with 13 volume. And we're going back to the shampoo bowl. I'm just barely wetting her hair down, not a lot. And then I'm going to emulsify the root color that we did and the all over color that we did. And I'm just going to make sure that it's evenly distributed throughout her whole head and like throughout the ends and everything. I don't really want to wet her hair too much. I just want it to be wet enough that I can like pull the color through the rest of her hair. And then now I'm going to go through with the overall gloss, and we're going to apply this to all of her hair. And then we're going to let this sit for about 15 minutes. By the way, when you're rinsing your client's color out, make sure you tell them, I'm rinsing your hair out with some freezing water. It's going to be cold, and that's just part of the process. All of my redheads know that we're washing them out with cold water, and I don't mean lukewarm. I don't mean tepid water. I mean that bitch is frozen. I mean, that is ice cold water, because if you use hot water, it's going to open the cuticle. It's going to bleed the red color out. Their hair is going to fade a lot faster. You need to tell your clients also, when you're at home, you better be washing your hair with this freezing cold water, honey, because I've had a client contact me and say, why did my color fade out? And I said, first of all, why are you calling me 2 days later? I tell you, don't wash your hair for 3 days. Why are you always already calling me back? You're washing your hair too soon. You know better. Don't call me and complain. And I said, what was the temperature of water that they used? Well, it was kind of warm. No, we don't care about comfort. Okay, we care about our color. Also, this is what I'm toning with her hair. Paul Mitchell, the Demi 9NB. Sorry, I forgot to record that. So that's what I was using. We already talked about the toning earlier. So this is like the warmer blonde tone that I use to tone her blonde pieces. But back to washing the hair out. You need to tell your clients, if you want your hair to stay vibrant and maintain a pretty color, then you need to use a freezing cold water. And you better be tucking your behind so that the water doesn't run down your back, is how cold it needs to be. Trust me, I've been a redhead. I understand how horrible it is. Okay? Don't wash your hair as much. And when you do wash your hair, use freezing water. That's how cold it needs to be. And you will keep the vibrancy of your hair color a lot longer. For example, look at those suds running down her hair. Not a hint of copper in those bubbles. It's all white, honey, and that's because it's super cold and her color is not bleeding. All right, I don't know how much of this haircut you guys want to see, but I don't want to talk about my double chin. We're not talking about it. Okay? But if you did notice, did you see how much of that length we're taking off of her layers? We took about like 3 inches off her layers. So I'm just going to show you a little snippet of like what we're doing for her haircut. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. If you guys want me to do like a haircut video, let me know, because I can get a mannequin or something and whatever, if that's what you want to see. I don't know, but I don't want to bore you and do the whole haircut though. So we're doing her facial framing. We did a whole bunch of layers, and look at this color. Look at how pretty it is. Look at this. Is what I'm talking about. Nice and vibrant and bright orange. It's so pretty. Such a pretty copper color. Thank you, Jesus. I am so glad that I mixed that level 6 in there, because you can't see where her old roots are versus the roots that we did today. Like, her color blends so good from adding that level 6 in there. So this is her color. I'm super excited. And you guys can still see where I had painted the bleach through the last few times. You can just see where she has like little brighter pieces popping through, and that's because of those bleach panels that I had done like probably a few services ago. Like, that bleach is gonna stay there. It's still gonna like have the highlights and whatnot. So anyway, look at how happy she is, and those layers are so good. It like made such a difference to have like super volumes, what she was wanting. I'm super excited for the way that we like layered her hair, because a lot of people aren't, like, some people are layering, but like not a lot of people are doing like this many layers, and I think it's so pretty. Like, it turned out so good. Also, we kind of decided that maybe we needed to add a little bit more of layering and go a little bit shorter, so we're just texturizing a little bit, and then you're gonna see me like pull her hair up and then just basically like point cut pretty deeply into her layers to get some shorter pieces in through there. And then I'm going to give her a little spin, and you're going to see like how much that took that heaviness out of her layers, and it just lightened them up a little bit more and gave them a little bit like shorter pieces just through the crown area. And here's her before. You know, just a standard root retouch is what we're doing. And here's her after. Look at how cute she is. Oh my gosh, those layers and facial framing is everything. I love this copper tone on her. It turned out so pretty. She's super fabulous with her sunglasses. And look at that color. I'm like obsessed. Obsessed. So pretty. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like watching this video. It's a little bit different. I know I don't throw redheads in there very often, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to, you can follow me on Instagram at Modern Blonde by Christy.